This is Rihanna coming from Plant Wholesome Empowerment Group. I just wanted to share a little aspect of our session that we did yesterday. So I'm in the garden. It's very noisy, as you can hear, because there's a lot of work going on. But I hope you can hear me, and I hope that you can understand the whole aspect of this experience. So yesterday we wrote down a few things following the perception sessions about things that we want to reject from our lives. And I think it's really important to go through why I asked the participants to do this. So a lot of the time we harbour our feelings, and as much as we talk about them, we forget to actually let go of them. And this exercise, I actually got it from my mentor. She'd done it in one of her workshops, and I felt it was a really, really practical releasing technique where you're physically letting go of the things that you're trying to let go of mentally and emotionally. So I asked everyone to write down a few things, and it was in this envelope, rejected. It's sealed. I haven't opened it, as I promised. It's not for me to reveal anyone's information in that sense. But yeah, for my own stuff, I joined in the exercises as well, and there was a few things that I wrote down that I realised that I may not have even let go of. So I wanted to go through this process of just burning it, destroying the emotions, destroying the thoughts, destroying the feelings. And I'm going to do this right now. Okay, so hopefully things don't go wrong, but I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, we're back. So I hope you can all see this. I'm gonna douse this. I'm just gonna affirm a few things with it as well. So, in honour of my ladies that attended, I affirm I am free. I am one that is worthy of love. We reject the past. We accept freedom of ourselves. And we let go. We let go. We let go. And we let go. I'm gonna stay here and let it burn out completely. But part of this exercise, like I said, is the physical and the mental release that a lot of the time we don't have the opportunity to do. We're just taught to cope with things and to deal with things, but we're not actually taught how to actually release these things from ourselves. So this is an exercise that I really think is important as a letting go process, as a releasing process, to destroy anything that you feel is restricting you and holding you back. So this is in honour of the ladies that attended yesterday. Like I said, I would not have read them. This is personal to you. Whatever you choose to reject in your life, you reject it. But just wanted to share this experience with you all, and hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, this is disintegrated now. Disintegrated. So I affirm I am worthy. I am accepted. I am beautiful. I have the power to change my mindset. I am freed from the mental constraints, freed from the physical abuse, freed from the emotional neglect of others and to myself. I embrace anything and everything positive in my day-to-day. And I really, really hope that the ladies that experienced yesterday's session really go through today with a sense of newfound purpose, new insight, new perceptions into the ways to think and to deal with these kinds of issues that we discussed yesterday. If you check our last post, you will see exactly what we was talking about. Obviously, I'm not going to post information that's directly personal to the participants, but we got into the nitty-gritty. I shared my own personal experience of domestic violence and just trauma and abuse. So it was really riveting and relieving to share that experience. Let me come a bit closer. It was really uplifting to share that experience with other people, because I've suffered with quite a few traumatic experiences in my time, and I've not felt comfortable or able to even speak about them. You know, you're just seen as this strong black woman that can carry everything, but we're not always able to carry a burden that's greater than ourselves. Sometimes it is okay to be vulnerable. Sometimes it is okay to accept help, and that's something that I've had to learn along the way. So even me doing this video is something that I've learned to come out of my comfort zone for and just to feel again. So this is me showing you that you can feel. If I can feel, you can feel. And it's a process. It's not a destination. It's not an outcome goal. As much as I talk about goals to me is something that's cyclical. It's ever going. Whether it is a target goal or a maintenance goal, that's what makes the difference between its action and making it a journey as well. Because a lot of the time, specifically something as dense as this, there's no target. Yeah, a lot of people say, I want to feel again, or I want to be relieved from this, but as soon as you get to that point of feeling again, or that point of being able to let go of some things, you can get re-triggered. So at the same time, the goal is to have optimum functioning in this area of your life, but at the same time, the goal is to maintain that functioning as well. So 3 things that I can honestly say that I learned from yesterday. The perception of trauma or traumatic experiences is in the eye of the beholder. The reason why I say that, there was a realization that I had yesterday that not everyone would see an experience as traumatic the way how I would see it as traumatic. That's definitely something I learned yesterday, and it opened my eyes to understand that even the things that I have been through may not be seen as traumatic to other people, but it's all about perception and how you've understood it in your life, how you've come to an understanding and vision the situation for yourself. The second thing that I learned from yesterday, sorry, it's noisy. The second thing I learned from yesterday was the importance of patience. Yeah, the importance of patience. The reason why I say that is because there was an experience that was shared where over, I don't even want to say the amount of years, but years that have endured certain abuses that not only have been abuses from other people, but reinscribed in abuses to yourself. Years of this detrimental behaviour towards yourself, even if you don't see it as detrimental behaviour, at that time you may see it as something positive for yourself, but that's your vice, your coping vice. And we don't tend to see that as abusive, because realistically we see abusive as negative. We just straight think the extremes. But even down to, and this is something that June Allen from juneallen.net, she kind of opened my eyes to. Abuse could be things like overeating. That's a form of self-neglect. Or shopping, indulgence in shopping, that's a form of self-neglect, because you're overindulging in something, an habitual habit that may not be serving you well. So yeah, patience is definitely one, to be able to undo these things that you feel that have been bounding you mentally, physically, emotionally. For me personally, it's been more emotionally and psychologically. I still get these thought patterns as well, where I feel that I'm not able to overcome certain things, or even just talking to a certain person makes me feel like, ugh, Like, why am I in this predicament? Why did they make me feel this way? But at the same time, it's about being patient, and being patient with yourself as well as the process. And the third thing that I learned, the beauty in talking. Honestly, you can always say to people about, oh, talk to me, it's okay, we can share our experience, but do you actually talk open-heartedly and wholeheartedly, or do you just talk based on talking? That's something that I'm trying to make a distinction between, because there's talking just for talking's sake, for talking for the topic, but then there's talking in depth and talking to a point where you can feel, where you can feel a change, a shift in energy. That's the kind of talking I want to engage in all the time. The talking where there's a shift in energy. The whole point of this perception sessions is to change the shift in energy that we all experience with these taboo topics. And it's around our understanding, our psyche, our knowledge acquisition. And that's the thing that I'm trying to change, because no matter what, I'm not a self-depleting person. However, we all engage in self-depleting practices, and that's something I'm trying to change. Being able to find the power to resolve these certain situations and build resiliency within ourselves, and not be dependent on drugs, be dependent on alcohol, be dependent on people, all of these things. Again, as June Allen has highlighted me, you can be addicted to people. That is something that really, really honed in on me and made me realise the addictions that I had in my life. So yeah, sorry, I've gone off topic here. No, it's not really off topic, but I've gone in my own little world. But something that I wanted to say is that I recommended a book by John Bradshaw, Healing the Shame That Binds You. Now, the reason why I recommended this book, and a lot of the themes and trends from the session this week was based on this book, because in regards to talking about domestic violence and talking about sexual harassment and sexual violence, there is a stigma attached to it, and it is shameful. A lot of the time, the people that experience these things feel shamed, feel some sort of loss of themselves, feel a lack of confidence and self-esteem. Because a lot of the time, for me, I'll be honest, the shame that I experienced was the shame that I've accepted this in my life and I've allowed this shit to happen. That was the shame that I had for myself. And I would say that's the same shame that I felt from my childhood, from my parents, where there would be shaming practices, but also the shaming that I've had, that I've brought upon myself. The fact that I've allowed certain things to happen, and I felt shameful as a person that doesn't take shit, that I've allowed this to happen. So that book really kind of details a lot about the history of how these things have developed. So in my instance, it talked a lot about the lack of boundaries in my family relationships, and highly emotional, enmeshed behaviours and practices that we engaged in as a family, but also the distance that has impacted me as an individual, the distance from my mother when she passed away, and the lack of information around her, the distance from my dad, the withdrawal that he had from me, because me personally, and this is my own understanding of it, but because of the resemblance that I have to my mum, and him having to relive everything that he went through as an individual. But me as a young woman, I need to learn how to cope and to deal and to thrive through these situations, which is what I didn't feel that I got. I've had to learn this all in my adulthood, and now at the age of 30, I can honestly say that, not that I've finished, no, like I said, it's an ongoing process, but I'm at a better point in my life to that I can now share what I've gone through and hopefully share the practices and the methods that I've used for myself to help someone else. That's the whole point of PLAN, Positive, Loving, Achieving, Nurturing Network. That's exactly what it's all about. So I'm going to end this video here. A nice little 15-minute video for you this morning. Happy Monday. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. I'm going to post something uplifting because I know this content is very dense and very heavy. So I'm going to be starting Motivation Mondays So today's going to be the first post because it just is so fitting and right. So have a beautiful day. I hope you have a day filled with love, filled with light and honesty, filled with greater understanding. Take the time to understand people. Don't just listen to them. Take the time to understand them today, okay? So yeah, this is Rihanna coming from Plan Wholesome Empowerment Group. Take care.